It's the Built Different podcast. Starting it a bit different. Got a little bit of wine to celebrate the first episode. Going to be talking about a lot of different topics, obviously based around fitness mostly, but talking about some trending topics, what's going on out there on the news, sharing our opinion. If you're out there, if you're at home, if you drink, pour yourself a glass of wine or whatever you prefer. If you don't drink, pour yourself a glass of juice or water.
Yes.
We keep it classy over here. For those out there that train, don't be afraid to have some wine.
Actually helps in the morning, doesn't it, as well? It's kind of like you've lost some weight.
Yeah. Or drinking wine dries you out. So
Yes.
usually when you wake up the next day, you're a bit more ripped, which is pretty cool. Nice little added bonus. So we'll start off with something a little bit interesting. So what are your first memories of training? When do you remember training for the first time or doing anything in relation to training?
Wow, that's a very good question because my mind's actually having to like track back to how anything started with me. But if I'm going first, I'd say that. Okay, here we go. I got it. So during high school, so that's like um between the ages of 11 to 15,
Yeah.
for those who are not in the UK. And I think I was like 12 or 13, and we were doing dance classes like for PE, like every week for like 6 weeks, and then it would rotate, and we would do something else. And I loved it so much. Like I would be like literally the only one, if I remember correctly, that would still want to keep going. Everyone else just be
What
like,
kind of things were they getting you doing? Is it mainly dancing
yeah, it
or?
would be like at first obviously do all the warm ups and stuff, but then you have to do like a choreography kind of thing.
Mm-hmm.
So the teacher, the dance teacher at the time, she would do it, and then we'd have to copy what she's doing. Then at the end, we've got like a whole kind of dance routine kind of
Mm-hmm.
thing. And it was just so fun. Like it was so fun for me because even though like I'm sweating and it's like hard, but I just loved like I'm having fun. I'm working out, but I'm
Mm-hmm.
having fun. And I think subconsciously that stuck in my mind because moving forward into the years, like to cut it short, like moving into the years and going into Savarian, the college that I went to. So like there would have been like 17 to 18. I then started going to the gym because it was free,
I mean, it's a
which was
bonus.
great.
And what
To your
kind of things were
song.
you doing in terms of training? Because obviously with dancing,
Yeah.
it gives me kind of Zumba vibes,
Yes.
which is pretty cool. A lot of people underestimate dancing, but it's really good for cardio.
Cardio, yeah.
But when you went to college, like you're saying, what kind of things were you doing to train? Obviously, transitioning from dancing.
Well, at first I started going on the bike.
Mm-hmm.
Is that what it's called? I think that's what it's called. The bike.
The
No.
CrossFit cross trainer.
Yes,
Yeah,
that's
where
it.
you kind of like.
The cross trainer. So it's
Yeah.
not a bike, no.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, that's where I started first.
It's
Working
kind
my
of funny
legs and.
you say that because with the cross trainer, to be fair,
Mhm.
when I was 15 years old, so that would put me in year 10.
Yeah.
And I remember with high school, we had a designated day where you could use the gym. And I remember it was Wednesdays, and I would go in and I would go on the cross
Oh.
trainer. I'd be on it half an hour, just going
Yeah, half an hour
crazy.
for me as well.
And thinking back,
That's so weird.
I was fairly small as well. Like, so I'm thinking to myself, like, why was I going so crazy when I was already small? But
Mm-hmm.
as I found out recently, cardio is always good because obviously you're training the heart. So that was that.
Absolutely.
But yeah, it was crazy. Good memories. Wow. So let's
Oh,
switch it up
that
a little bit.
reminds me of the scale.
Scale. What do you mean?
When you were weighing. When you were
Oh, you're mad. You're mad. That story will never
We'll
hear the
never-
light of day. Nah. No one's hearing the scale story. Oh my. Why would you even think that now? Right. Talking about training, for those people that are new, obviously most of the people are going to be new.
Yeah.
Obviously, you had 3 babies. And when it comes to your training, there's been transitional periods where you started and stopped.
Oh yeah.
So what's it felt like getting back into training? Not just now, but we're going off after we had our little girl. So after having the
Yes.
first baby, what was it like kind of getting back into training?
And I remember that distinctively because when I was working out before our first daughter,
Mm-hmm.
it wasn't, I don't know, I don't feel like I had as much passion for it as well. Like, as in, like, I don't know what happened. I don't know what was going on. There's just too many things happening at once.
Mm-hmm.
But once I had Carla, it was like I had a new, like, I had motivation to do it. And, like, I didn't feel as much as, like, of the exhaustion or anything like that. Like, I just
Mm-hmm.
kept showing up every day. Like, and I remember even later on, so when she was now like 6 months and things like that, yeah, it was just a walk in the park for me. Like, even the times that it was hard, so the workouts I was doing that I knew the time that was coming, like the side squats that you have to go like sidestepping, like I don't know how to explain,
Moving like what's
like a
his name?
crab, pretty much. Yeah.
I
All
feel
these
like
things.
only mothers can relate to what you're talking about.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yes.
But you mentioned an interesting thing. So you said after we had Carla,
Mhm.
you've now felt more motivated to train.
Yeah.
And I don't know if you remembered this, but obviously before we had her,
Mhm.
and even after we'd had her,
Mhm.
I hadn't trained for a long time. I think I must have had a
Yeah.
year and a half, maybe even close to 2 years without training. And obviously the restart for me was lockdown. And you mentioned that
Mhm.
obviously having her gave you obviously a boost of motivation. And this is something a lot of people ever asked me about. Oh, what motivates you to train? Da, 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 da.
Yeah.
And I feel like obviously it's an important topic to speak on because there's other people out there that have babies or that have younger siblings that look up to them. And if you are one of those people, I think you might want to listen closer to this one. So with my little
Yes.
ones, of which there's 3 now, when it comes to training, my motivation is pretty much me becoming a superhero in their eyes. Like literally carving myself to look like real life Superman, Batman, Black Panther. gotta be
Wakanda forever.
you gotta be inclusive. When I look at training, I'm not thinking, oh yeah, I just want to look good.
Mhm.
I want my parents to also be able to set an example and to show them what's possible when you stay disciplined, when you put your mind towards something, and
I
what
agree
can
with
be
that.
achieved when you actually want to see what the best version of you can be.
And you know what's amazing about that is that you can see how much more they'll apply it to themselves when they see us doing it. The
Oh,
biggest example of that was literally I was saying to you the other day, like,
mm-hmm,
if we start drinking more water, then maybe our daughter will start drinking more water as well. And
mm-hmm,
lo and behold, we both got bottles of water. We've been drinking
mm-hmm.
water every day. And now, first thing she does when she wakes up in the morning, Daddy, Mommy, can I have some
Oh, it's
water?
crazy.
And she didn't even like used to like water like that, you know. I'd have to literally be like, come on, have some more, some more. She'd always just ask for juice. But now she's the one like, can I have some water,
I
please?
know for parents
It's
out
an
there,
impact, huge impact,
what you
parents.
do will 100% impact your children. Right, next topic, I'm going to talk about the true Geordie and
Dun dun dun.
how he's pretty much been cancelled. In fact,
Uh,
before we get into it, for people who don't know of the story,
oh
so
yes.
the true Geordie is a YouTuber slash podcaster slash commentator. And recently he was caught in a live stream making a joke that offended the Muslim community. Now he was targeting one person, an individual, which we'll talk about later on in this podcast,
Make sure you stick around for that one.
100%. And yes, it ended up backfiring, blowing up in his face, no pun intended. It became something way bigger than he could manage.
But are
They've
you serious
cancelled
that
him.
he's been cancelled?
He's been dropped by Gymshark. He's been dropped by, I think they're called Polka Stars. So said two of his sponsors pretty much drop him. See, we watched the video the other day.
Yeah.
From what you remember seeing, what are your thoughts about that?
I don't know. I have really different views on this.
But do you think,
Do you know what I mean?
even though he was trying to target one person,
Mm-hmm.
do you think the way he went about doing it was right?
I believe that he had very poor choice of words. Like, even though I can understand what he was trying to say because he is the man who he is.
The point that he made, obviously, to be clear for people who might not have seen it,
Oh, yeah.
he was saying that the person that he offended had joined the Muslim community to get people on his
On
side.
his side, yeah.
And obviously, he was now trying to speak on that. And with that being said, he pretty much said that he wishes for this person, if they're going to be real about obviously what they're doing,
The faith, yeah.
the
Being in the faith.
they should go all the way and blow themselves up, which is, I mean,
It's a very bad stereotype as
dark.
well.
Like,
I can also understand why he was cancelled because it's like you can't unhear it.
mm-hmm.
Like once you've said that, even if you make an apology video, you can't unhear that.
As someone, like, obviously, I'm black.
Mm-hmm.
Growing up, you come across hearing slurs or people making jokes where it could be like, no, maybe in school for whatever reason they've got extra watermelon than they usually have.
Mm-hmm.
People be saying, "Oh, don't you want to get some watermelon?" They might be saying it in a joking way,
Mm-hmm.
not meaning any malicious intent,
Mm-hmm.
but the stereotype towards that is still bad. Or even better example, you're going for a walk in the forest when you're young with your schoolmates.
Yeah.
I don't know why you're going for a walk in
With
the
your
forest.
schoolmates.
I know, maybe they're showing you the insects. I'm pretty sure they did this. They took us to some random forest, had us with magnifying glasses, looking in the water, looking at insects.
Wow, your
And-
school was so cool. Mine never did. All I got was racial slurs.
Mad. Could have a kid saying, oh, it's like the jungle. What's it like being in the jungle? What was it like?
Oh dear.
Stuff like that.
Mm.
Someone saying that in their head, they think they're being a comedian
Yeah.
to the people around them. But it is a stereotype. It is bad. It might not be on the level that obviously True Geordie says, but to give you an example, it's still not okay. I'll be honest, right? So True Geordie, Brian, like, I've
Yeah.
watched a lot of his podcasts. I'm pretty sure out of all the podcasts he's ever done, there's probably been maybe 5 that I've not seen. So I've watched a lot of his podcasts.
So you know what he's like.
From what I can see, he seems like a down-to-earth, realistic guy.
Mm.
But every now and again, he has tendencies to make granddad-like jokes. If you don't know what I mean, like I grew up, obviously, white friends. Let's say you be speaking to the granddad, they'll make jokes that they shouldn't be making, that they think are funny. I feel like
I've been
this
through that
was
as
the
well.
kind of instance of what happened in terms of the whole situation. It's like, for me at the moment, it's 50-50.
Right.
Because it's like, yes, I see why he should be cancelled. Should he get a second chance? Because, you know, people out there have done worse and been given second chances.
This is what I think. I think that society as a whole has become, it's been very hard for people to become forgiving of people.
Mm-hmm.
Like, you can tell that he wasn't targeting, like he wasn't thinking straight, to be honest. For him to have said that, he definitely wasn't thinking. But, you know, like you said, people have said worse things. And it's not about comparing, like, the degree of, like, an insult. But it's the fact that people don't want to forgive anymore. Even if he's made an apology, which he has. Some people don't apologize. But he has. And the fact that he has, people still want to hold him down. Oh, but the apology wasn't really okay. Oh, the tears, they weren't really there. Like, you know, people always look for something nowadays, I feel, to not forgive someone.
For
You
me,
know?
it's the fact that at the end of the video it goes like and subscribe. I was like,
Oh, yeah, you said that.
I never seen an apology where someone asked for a like and subscribe at the end. But yeah, it's a sour one. And like,
Yeah.
continuing on from this, the person he was pretty much having beef with was Andrew Tate.
Dun, dun, dun.
Now, Andrew Tate is a guy that's been all over the internet, said a lot of things We recently watched an interview between Andrew Tate and Piers not too long ago. And after watching that, or in general, whichever one you want to go with, what are your views on Andrew Tate?
I know this sounds weird,
Uh-huh.
but it's like all you hear is what people say about him, little snippets of what
Mm-hmm.
he has said. But I never actually heard, you know how he said he's got like podcasts of him
Mm-hmm.
speaking to people for hours. I never heard. So that was the first time me actually sitting and hearing how he composes
So had you
himself.
only ever come across clips?
Yeah.
That's crazy. Do you think he's a misogynist?
No, I don't think he's a misogynist. See, this is the whole build different thing coming in. Because I think a little bit differently. Because I get the perspective he's coming from, because the way he describes the woman and the men role is very in agreement with what I believe in as well. With that, when he was saying that, in a marriage, like if
Mhm.
the woman expects me to protect her and things like that, I need to have some sort of authority. You know, if we were to go outside at night, like 2 in the morning or something like that,
Mhm.
the man would be expected to like jump in if something was to happen, if
Mhm.
she was in danger. It's like, for example, I was saying to you the other day, like
Mhm.
in my culture growing up, whenever there was gatherings, they would always be like, "Oh, the women and children should eat first." But then
Yeah.
they'd be like, "No, no, no. Actually, the man should eat first." I'm like, "No, why should the man eat first? The women and children are hungry first. Whatnot, whatnot." And they said it's because if something was to happen, okay, like some sort of, let's say something, some sort of danger in the house,
Mhm.
the men are fueled and ready to fight, to battle, to protect the young, the innocent, those that um
Can't
are less
protect themselves.
vulnerable, yeah, and can protect themselves.
Mhm.
Whereas if you feed the children, the women first, the man, if he's even if he tries to fight, he doesn't have as much fuel in him to sustain that fight.
That's the thing. At the end of the day, with Andrew Tate, he speaks things that are just common sense. But in this day and age, common sense is no longer a flower that grows in everyone's garden. And then even out there, like in public, if you see girls getting asked questions about him, you're hearing, "Oh, he's a misogynist," and then they get asked why, and they either walk away
They stutter.
or they're like, "Oh, I'll stop wasting my time."
It's
And the,
lack of knowledge, lack of information on the subject, and people just like want to follow like whatever trends going on.
mm-hmm.
Oh, we're hating on this person. Okay, I'm hating on him too.
This is the thing. If you have lack of information, you can most likely easily be controlled. That's how I see it. Because at the end of the day, knowledge is power. And if you know things, you're going to be in a powerful position to stop yourself being controlled, if that
Control,
makes sense.
absolutely.
It's like the whole thing with Kanye West. But we're not going to get into that now.
Din 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 din.
We'll talk about the whole Kanye West thing on another podcast because there's a
Oh
lot of
yeah,
juice to be squeezed out of there. Yeah, I think we'll leave it there for this podcast. We talked about a lot.
yeah. There was quite a lot going on there.
Yeah.
But if you do want to watch the Kanye West one, if you want us to give our thoughts on that, just let us know in the comments below as well.
Yeah, so that is it from the first episode of the Built Different podcast. Hope you enjoyed it, guys.
Everything is rigged in your favor and manifest success.
Love and blessings, guys. Peace. P.S. If you train, there's nothing wrong with drinking every now and again, you know. Relaxes your muscles. Search up Ronnie Coleman drinks before his competition. You see what I mean?